Hey, what's up, everybody? You doing? I'd like to welcome you back to another video if you got just JB. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, very necessary. Make sure you hit the like button if you like the content. If you don't like the content, hit the dislike button. We all got a freedom of choice, all right? And hit that notification bell so you can know when I upload a video. Okay? So I already know if you land on this video, that means that that thumbnail or the topic, caught your attention. And this right here is based on a true story. And the reason why I'm talking about it because the individual told me to go talk about it on this channel because they want to get other people's point of view. It was this married couple. The father asked for a DNA test and the wife divorced him. Remember, put comments down inside the comment section, share it with other people because neither party think that they are wrong. Husband and wife, both melanated. Melanated man, melanated woman. Husband age is 32 currently. The wife age is 29 currently. They were married for 5 years. In second year, wife got pregnant. At this point, they had a perfect marriage. When they found out the wife was pregnant and they were expecting, the husband was happy. The wife was happy. Then a couple days later, the husband came back and told the wife, hey, I would like to have a DNA test. The wife automatically get upset and threaten a divorce. The husband said he had his reasons why he wanted a DNA test. And he said he tried to explain to the wife, but the wife didn't want to hear it. He said the wife immediately started calling family and friends. Now, they don't stay in no big metropolitan city. They stay in a small knit community, like a small town, small city atmosphere. The population is a nice size, but not that mega to the point that you don't cross paths with the same people at least once a week. So he still never got a chance to explain his point of view why he wanted a DNA test. She made it seem as if he went out and talked to his boys, his partners and friends, and they put the rubbish in his head saying, hey, you might want to get a DNA test just to be safe. Because we look on Maury every day, or we look on all these different TV shows, or men end up finding out, husband in particular, that the child they've been raising for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 18 years, really not their child. So during this whole time, her friends and her family get on Facebook, get on Instagram, and just straight bash the husband. Now, the crazy part about it, the husband revealed to me that the reason why he wanted to get a DNA test, because with everything changing, with his new job that he have when it comes to insurance, what I mean by everything changing, the pandemic and all, but he worked for a top level company, okay? He former military. Just say whatever his military MOS was, he doing that on the civilian side. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that. In order for him to have benefits, they need to have DNA tests saying that, hey, this kid is here, or adoption paper that's saying, hey, this kid is here, or legal court document that say he is the guardian of this particular kid. Okay, so he was trying to get all that out the way to let her know, hey, I need a DNA test, but she didn't let him explain it nor break it down. Went straight, got upset, said she was divorced, and went told the friends and all that stuff. Right now, I don't want y'all picking sides. Right, I don't want y'all be team husband or team wife. Let's hear the full detailed story. Okay, and remember, make sure you subscribe if you're liking the content. Okay, make sure you hit that like button if you're liking the content. If you're disliking the content, hit that dislike button. Okay, and turn on that notification bell so every time I upload a video, you all can hear from our perspective and we can charm in as a community. All right, let's keep going. So at this point, like 72 hours to pass by, and the husband can't believe how everybody on social media had turned against him. All right, like he the laughing stock of the small city / town. And because of the job he have, he really don't supposed to be on social media in the first place. And at that time, the posts along with his picture, because of the friends that was doing, had started to go viral. Everybody in the community was sharing it. Then they friends were getting it and sharing it. And it has started to blossom. So in fear of losing his job, losing his wife, and losing his potential new family, the husband retracted everything he said. And he said the one thing that really did hurt him is that when the friends went and put all their business out on social media, the family went and put all their business out on social media to the point it almost threatened their livelihood, that she stood by her friends and family member actions. So if you are a married couple out there, to the wives, let me ask you this. You come in and tell your husband, hey, we're pregnant, we finally pregnant, or we having another one, or we are expecting. After he's, rejoiced with you, then he say, hey, first thing coming to mind, I would like to have a DNA test. How would you respond? to that? Go down inside the comment section, let me know that. At this point, the husband, like, he totally regret asking for the DNA test. He said he wished he would have came out and said, babe, you know I work with such and such. This and this got to happen so we can make sure the baby had the benefits. But he said in the midst of the situation, he was so happy and hysterical because he'd been wanting a child ever since they first got married. And when she said that, he just was just full of emotion happening. And the first thing that came in his mind, like, oh, the baby gonna need benefits. When that came in his mind, he just be like, I want a DNA test. They had a beautiful son. It seemed like all things that came together and it would pass that situation that had happened 9 months prior. So when the child was born, the husband picked up his son. He was there in the delivery room. His wife, you know, he was hugging his son. He signed the birth certificate and all that. But for some odd reason, when the child was born, the father still didn't get the DNA test for the child because he didn't want to bring nothing up that was dealing with that and regurgitate, you know, what happened 9 months prior. When the child turned 3, the child got real sick. This was around February of 2020. In that area, the doctors and the medical personnel were trying to deem the child as the first case of COVID-19 or coronavirus. And both the husband and wife was terrified. They didn't know how it could happen. It was still like real fresh and brand new at that point in February 2020 when nothing shut down. It was just with presumably 1-2 cases, you know, in the United States at the time. So they were very confused. So they went and got a second opinion, a third opinion, a fourth opinion. Upon going getting a fourth opinion, was coming to find out that the kid at 3-year-old did not have no sense or no signs of COVID-19 nor the coronavirus. The kid was suffering from a highly rare hereditary disease. People have it, people being treated with it. It always began to show itself around the late toddler stage when the child is between the age of 2 to 5. It's curable if it can be treated. But if it don't be treated, the kid can end up losing their life. If a kid was diagnosed at the son age of 3 and wasn't treated, the kid would have a life expectancy of 3 to 5 years. But if they catch it early, they can treat it by utilizing DNA from the father of the child. I'm giving y'all the words that was given to me by the father. To combat this particular disease, it takes some aspect of the same DNA traits of the parent who usually can combat the disease to fight it. With the disease, right, a great-great-grandparent might have it, but the grandparent didn't have it, the parent didn't have it, then all of a sudden the kid got it. Okay, so if the parent didn't have it, that means the parent DNA structure can fight it. So they go in and do the scientific stuff that they do, and they pull away from the parent DNA. And I don't know how the process go, you know, in particular. I wasn't even familiar with the disease. I had to go do some homework on it too. Like, damn, I didn't know that even existed. Okay, now the kicker is this, right? When they go to price this particular procedure is going to be worth some money, and they're going to cost a pretty penny. Now, the child has been on the wife insurance from her employment versus the father, because like the father did not want to bring the DNA stuff up. All right. But when they seen the cost of this particular, you know, procedure was going to be, okay, the father was telling the wife at that point, this is why I bought up DNA in the beginning, because you know who I am employed with, you know how things work over there in that parameter. We got the best benefits, and they got clauses in their benefits that their child do not have to wait, you know, 6 months or 12 months before the benefits kick in. They will allow an emergency injection of use of the benefits, all right, for this particular purpose. He would need to prove that that's his child. He was like, since we got to do the DNA thing anyway, let's just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now they go do the DNA test. The doctor came into the weight room and called the wife. He looked over there and seen it, and he was like, hold up. So he started talking to people. He went over there, and when he went over there, he said the doctor gave him a weird look. The doctor told him that I think it'd be best if I tell this to is such and such, their last name. He said, I don't understand that we're married. That's our child, but whatever you got to say to her, you can say it in front of me, because that's my wife. If it's something bad, I need to be here to console her. Okay. And he said the doctor just had a funny look. So yeah, the doctor told them, walk back here. They went through the doors. They think they finna go in the room with their son. But they detoured to this little small little cathedral or something. He going in there, and the first thing when he hear like, damn, something bad happened to his son. He said he just burst out in tears. And said the doctor looked at him and said, it's nothing wrong with the child. At this point, the doctor didn't say son like he'd been saying his son, you know, the whole time they've been there. Nothing wrong with the child. But he said, I do have some very, very bad news. He said the first thing came in here, like they found something else out that it is the disease, and he do got COVID and corona. But the doctor told him that the DNA test resulted that you, Mr. Such and Such, is not the father of the child. The husband said at that point that he just kind of went in an out of body experience. He said he heard that, but he didn't hear it. He's like, everything just went deaf. He said, well, like the room would just spin 100 miles per hour, then it'll stop. Then it'll spin 300 miles per hour, then it'll stop. The wife was telling me that she had a strong possibility at that moment. She always knew there was a possibility that the child wasn't her husband. But when the child came out and he had some features of the husband, she said in her mind that, okay, it's my husband. She said she sit down in the chair, and she said her first reaction was to start crying. And the doctor said, I'm going to give y'all a minute, and walked out the room. She looked at him and said that I knew it was a possibility it wasn't your child. And he was like, but we got pregnant in our second year of marriage. She responded and said, yes. Them same friends that she ran to that bashed him, they went on a girls trip. Her friends, and a couple cousins. I think they went to Cabo San Lucas. They met some guys there on vacation as well. And she said that whole week they were down there. She had a whole week fleeing with that guy. They had unprotected sex. The whole time she was down there, she didn't want for it to happen, but it happened. Crazy part about it, she don't even know the guy's real name, because when she got back to the States, when they were leaving, you know, she tried to look up his name, trying to look up his social media. She couldn't find him. Right, so she don't even know the guy's name. She don't even know how to get in contact with the guy. The guy told her that he was from Massachusetts, and the husband asked her, like, what would make you do that? The child ended up pulling through. I don't know the specifics on how that happened. I just know that when that was said, the husband wanted a divorce. They divorced each other because he made more money than her in the marriage. He ended up having to pay her alimony, even though she the one cheated crazy in the court system. On top of that, he has to pay $1,300 a month in child support until the child turn 18. If the child don't go to college, if the child go to college, you got to pay that all the way up to the child turn 21 or 22. And the child is not even his biological child, but he signed that birth certificate. In the state that they reside in, that deem him as the father, and he got to take up them responsibilities. He looked at his lawyer, asked the judge to her face. And I'm not saying because it was a female judge that it played a difference, but he said, asked the female judge to her face, how is this possible? And the female judge told him, if you want to even these odds or get your money back, you have the right to go sue the man that has sexual relations with your wife for adultery, and you can have a civil lawsuit against him to recover any monetary issues that you consider as a loss. So tell me down inside the comment section, how do y'all feel about that? Because they actually want to know you all's opinion, because they still back and forth with one another, because he trying to get out of this monetary obligation and paying her, you know, alimony.